This is what homeless advocates are calling homeless internment camps, the WX Street Safe Ground. This is Sacramento's first city-sanctioned safe ground that came about because Caltrans was needing to sweep over 100 plus unsheltered community members that were seeking shelter under the bridge in order to do construction on this freeway. This safe ground is lined up next to this noisy construction site and busy freeway and includes tents, RVs, car parking, porta potties, and hand washing stations. The WX Street Safe Ground is continuously at capacity as there are not many viable housing resources in Sacramento.
I'm not a big fan of affordable housing.
I am a huge champion of affordable housing, and I would love to say that the #1 call I get from businesses downtown is for more affordable housing, but it's not. The #1 call I'm getting from businesses in the central city is, please help us with these camps. Please help us with the folks with mental health illness. Please help us with the folks that are having challenges on our street. Those are the folks that are disrupting business downtown. Those are the folks that we need to help. And so while I am a big champion of affordable housing, and I do see this as a win-win either way, I have to agree with what Mayor Pro Tem said. I have to agree with what SHRA is saying. The urgent need is permanent supportive housing. We've got to move these folks out of the street. They have to be our highest priority as a city.
This is a snapshot of those things, and those are our response to the pandemic, how that has impacted us as an agency, our response to homelessness, affordable housing production that has continued, our public housing conversion, where we're still continuing to convert over our public housing to a new platform, and then our Choice Neighborhoods Initiative, which is Marisol Village. We provided vaccine clinics, we had informational meetings with healthcare experts to answer questions, and we partnered with the city to provide free meals service to our senior residents. The total amount of funds that we received in round one. Some of the money came directly to the city and the county, and some came through the state. So in the first round, it was $96 million. And then we also have received information on the second round that is coming up, which is approximately $84 million. As of today, that number has grown to $72 million has been dispersed to 9,600 households, and we're at 74%.
It's a pretty big difference between the city and county. Is there a reason for that?
Well, the county received much more money than the city.
It's a little disturbing since we have the same population and we have, the need too. So, thank you.
Obviously, with eviction protections ending, there were some, I can't recall exactly what it was, but there's discussion, I guess, with the courts before they enforce any kind of eviction for failure to pay rent. There would be a requirement for an inquiry or something to determine if the tenant has taken advantage of these. Can you explain that to me?
Yes, in fact, we have worked out a relationship and working with the courts because we did see a surge in applications at the end of the eviction moratorium. The courts were very concerned that they would be overwhelmed. They didn't receive as many as they thought. However, we did set up a process so that if someone comes before them, that they will actually reach out and contact us to make sure that they have either put in an application or even their landlord has put in the application for rental assistance. So on average, we're looking at it's about $7,400 per household.
How many applications are still pending that haven't been yet processed?
Goodness, I know we have over 2,000. 6,000 applications.
Left.
6,000 applications still pending. One of the things the agency has stepped in is really overseeing and administering the opening of 3 shelters to house the homeless in 2020 and 2021. Most recently, the X Street Navigation Center opened in Sacramento to serve up to 100 people living on the streets in the surrounding areas and others who are homeless in Sacramento. Since the opening of the shelter, which has only been a few short weeks, there are 77 guests are in the shelter. The Meadowview Navigation Center opened last year in South Sacramento, and that one serves a capacity up to 100 women. At the Meadowview shelter, 75 of those women have gone on to be housed already. Shelter that we also oversee is a tiny home village, which is called Emergency Bridge Housing at Grove. This is for transitional age youth. There's a picture there of one of the young men who's there and talking about his experience, and pictures of those tiny homes. There are 24 cabins that are set up there, and since we opened that, 62 youth have exited the program and into housing. And then we'll also be working with the city on the expansion of that development as well. Moving on to homeless programs and permanent supportive housing, as you know, that is a huge focus and one of the priorities that you have set for us. And so one of the solutions is looking at how we can bring these projects online. There's a picture there of Sunrise Point, which is permanent supportive housing. It's now under construction by Jamboree Housing. It's going to provide 47 units of permanent supportive housing for homeless individuals and families. It's there in the city of Citrus Heights, the very first affordable housing that has been constructed since their inception. This is showing the number of units that we have completed and what's under construction, and then what's in the pipeline. So of the ones that have been completed, you can see, there's rehab that we did on the Shasta Hotel, the Courtyard Inn, where we had some new units, La Mancha, also some of the projects from Public Housing and RAD. And then under construction, there's 652. I have to move one from one category to the other. So we had Mutual on the Boulevard in the pipeline, and it's already, they told me today, moved to under construction. So we're really excited about that. 25%
of our estimated homeless population, I've seen different numbers, but it's certainly in that range, a full quarter of the homeless, and I trust most of those are individuals, maybe some families that are amongst them as well. That's a significant number, and if we could certainly, make some inroads as it relates to certainly to permanent supportive housing, but and to have those units available, I think it could begin to make a difference.